I'm here with author and designer Candie Cooper. And Candie, you are going to show us how to create a really cool bracelet using crimping.
So easy.
I love it.
So I brought a couple with me. If you look at this one, basically all you have to do is choose your palette. And the fun part about this is the wire is exposed, so you can incorporate that into your whole design.
Yeah, yeah. So you have your sunset colors there, kind of a rose gold wire, and then the red bracelet uses purple wire, it looks like. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a surprise, Katie.
I like it.
Yeah,
It's
thanks.
a party.
Yeah, right. So we're using these special cuff findings with the eyelets already ready, and then we're just going to string our beads in between. But there's a couple of things that I just want to show you, a couple of tricks. The first thing before you get started is you would want to measure your cuff piece closed, like how you would wear it. And so like you can see this is 5 inches, so I only need to bead a section of like 2 inches and some change maybe. The other trick I wanted to show you, we might need that later, I don't know,
Okay.
is how to distress leather. Like sometimes I think this looks like so like
Shiny,
new.
too shiny for you?
Yeah, too shiny for me. So I just used some super fine, like 600 grit sandpaper to kind of distress it a little bit. And that's kind of fun. And then if you want to brighten it back up, just use some leather conditioner.
Okay.
Magic tricks.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so
Customizing.
right. And then when you actually start to do the beaded sections, you can see I've gone ahead and strung a lot of beads. I found out that it takes about 10 beads, which are about 6 to 5 millimeters each per strand for my 7.5 inch strand here.
Okay, and the cuff pieces that you have there are shorter than the ones that you showed us measuring.
Right.
So you're just making longer beaded strand in between.
Right. And then I've separated each bead with 2 crimp beads. And while we're talking about crimp beads, you know, there's a difference, you know this, but like there's crimp tubes and crimp beads, and a lot of people want to know like, what's the difference? And correct me if I'm wrong, but crimp beads have a seam.
Oh, I think the biggest difference is that crimp beads are seed bead shaped, so they're round, and the crimp tubes are cylindrical. And so, like,
I've always read that the crimp tubes have no seam, so I liked them for that.
yeah, it's a good, I mean, that's a really good tip.
Okay,
And
good.
It also gives you more surface contact.
Right. Okay, so I learned something new today. I'm excited. So, like, once you get your crimp beads and
Or tubes.
or tubes, whichever you prefer, onto the wire, then you would just finish with a single crimp tube. So to get started, like you can look at this one that I've already done, and I've secured the one end by crimping. So if we come up here, I did 2 strands per eyelet, so I'm just gonna start over here this time so we can see really clearly. And you just run the end of your wire. And it's also important to check the fit of your crimp beads to your wire, and on the wire packaging there are some numbers, and it'll say like use a number 1 crimp bead or whatever. So once we slide that up, I leave a little bit of a tail, and then I would go into the first divot notch on my crimping pliers. Scoot up there, little guy, and make my divot like that, the little U-shaped part, and then you're gonna turn it 90 degrees.
And you left a little bit of space so it's not too tight.
I did, so that the sections can move easily. And then I've been, on these bracelets, it's so snug, I just trim it while the extra wire, and then slide your first bead into place. And so this is the first time I've ever made like bracelets with this crimping technique as the spacers. So like I was sliding them down and I was trying to like,
Measure it all out.
yes, like, so when I get my bead into place before I forget, I just use the chain nose pliers then to smush it down and make a flat crimp. But here's where I was like, when I first started, I was like, okay, I want them all to be evenly spaced. I'll use a guide, like a pencil or a crochet hook or whatever, and I'll move it and then I'll crimp it. And then by about the 6th strand, I was like, whatever, like, who cares?
Wherever they are, it's gonna be just great.
Get a life, Cooper. You got better things to be doing than perfectly straightening it out. So I just kind of eyeball it now. And you can see I'm getting pretty fast. Like
You
this
are
is
fast.
My 3rd bead. So I'm just smushing these down. The reason I'm not using the crimping pliers for this technique is a couple reasons. 1, it doesn't really matter. I like the little square beaded look on them. But 2, if you were to fold them over, sometimes if your beads holes are too large, the bead can actually slide over. Have you ever had that happen? It slides over the crimp tube or bead. So let me give myself some room. It looks like a ton of beads on my strand, but these bracelets like eat up the beads pretty fast.
Yeah, it looks like you did use a lot. And we'll have the instructions on our website so people can see.
Right.
How many strands do you think you used?
I used
Any idea?
6, so for this bracelet I used 6 strands, so 20, 40, 60 beads total.
All
And then
right.
each separated by crimp beads, so 10 each strand though. So where
Yeah.
am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I still have to squeeze 2 more in there. And then when you come to the end, you just want to kind of, you know, fit it in. It doesn't matter. The thing I love about this is it doesn't have to be perfect. You can squish them all in. Just try to keep your design so that when you pull the 2 strands taut, it's kind of squarish.
Pretty close.
Yeah, you don't want your ends being like that and trying to make it work, or else it'll mess up the drape on
Okay,
the...
when you're wearing it.
Right.
Okay,
So then, and I'm going to put a bead stopper in so we don't have any accidents.
good idea.
And we'll just seal it up at the end and finish it off just how we started with the crimping.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This is a great idea. Let's take a look at your finished bracelets and the earrings too, because that gives you another idea of how you can use the same illusion style technique on an earring.
Right, the earrings are just, I used a heavy stone to give it some weight and then skipped a little bit of space and crimped, and super easy.